Hello, mysterious person behind the screen, and welcome back to our ongoing series of Star Wars commentaries. I'm once again joined by Isaac.
I don't like Attack of the Clones. It's coarse, rough, and irritating, and it gets everywhere.
And, yeah, so we're doing Attack of the Clones this week. Another fan favourite. I'm sure you'll all agree. Once again, we're watching the 2019 version of the film, and, there's not much more to say. Without further ado,
If you'd like to sync this up with your own copy of Attack of the Clones, put the film to the start and press play in 3, 2, 1, go. Now, last week I read the opening crawl in Comic Book Guy's voice. This week it's going to be Michael Caine.
Oh, excellent. I've been looking forward to seeing what voice you were going to do for this one.
Yep. I mean, I've got to make these texts sound a bit more interesting than they already are. Star Wars. Episode 11. Oh, sorry, what is 2? Attack of the Clones. There is unrest in the Galactic Senate. Several thousand solar systems have declared their intentions to leave the Republic. This separatist movement, under the leadership of the mysterious Count Dooku, has made it difficult for the limited number of Jedi Knights to maintain peace and order in the galaxy. Senator Amidala, the former Queen of Naboo, is returning to the Galactic Senate to vote on the critical issue of creating an Army of the Republic to assist the overwhelmed Jedi. You're only supposed to blow the bloody Republic off.
Also, can we just talk about in the Phantom Menace? It's like the Jedi, they're in their prime, they're all flourishing, and now it's like there are limited numbers of them. They're overwhelmed. There's only so many of them.
Yeah, and can we just talk about the fact that opening crawl was saying, "Oh, someone's going to a meeting." Ugh.
Basically, yeah.
It's so, and this opening shot is so boring.
Yeah,
it's just spaceships spinning. Do you remember in A New Hope when you had that massive Star Destroyer going over the camera? This is just boring. Oh,
I mean, the Chrome ship looks pretty cool. I'll say that. The Chrome ship does look cool. I always like it, but that's about
it does, yeah.
And already it just feels so different to the Phantom Menace. Like, it already just feels so much more digital than that one.
Yeah. I'm expecting the characters to start talking in grunts like on the Lego video game.
Yeah. We are already being treated, though, to amazing sound design. So that is.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, the sound design's superb. Yeah.
It is, and I mean, we'll get to it later on. But I mean, I think this film is home to the infamous seismic blast sound effect, which is incredible.
Yeah.
God, I don't remember it all being this murky. This is so like, it's so murky and like foggy. It's.
There was no danger at all. A few moments later. Oh. Already we're in trouble.
Yes.
And I think the decoy is about to say, "Milady, I failed you." Well, you didn't really. You actually did your job.
Yeah, that's literally.
That's what you're there for.
She's literally there. Yeah, exactly.
You're there to die so she can live. I'm surprised they didn't get Captain Panaka back for this, because it's, what, a new captain or something?
I think they were going to, but I think Hugh Corsi wasn't available. I think it was.
Okay.
I think this was meant to be Panaka, and I don't know if he's ever named or not. It might be the same character, just recast, but I'm not sure if it's ever.
Hmm. Now, this might be a controversial statement, but in my opinion, this is the worst Star Wars film.
Yeah, I think so.
It's
Yeah.
just for me, it's the most dull. I mean, at least Phantom Menace does have that cool sword fight.
Mm.
This this doesn't really have any of those standout moments because it's just the same throughout.
I agree. Yeah, it is the most. It's the most prequely of the prequels. It's the it's the peak of the prequels, of everything that made the prequels what they are. It's the peak of that. It's the peak of the wooden dialogue, the wooden acting, the
Yeah,
overuse of CGI. Everything comes to a head in this. Um,
definitely. It's the most prequely.
and because I think Phantom Menace, it was a bit more physical. It was shot on film. You had a bit more physicality to it. Revenge of the Sith,
Hmm.
the performances get better in that. The drama gets better. It all gets a
Hmm.
lot more refined in that. This one is just everything that people criticize about the prequels in one film.
Yeah. Though I know title of worst Star Wars film is often surpassed by the legendary Last Jedi.
Oh yes.
But I'm not. But even though this is my least favorite Star Wars film, I'm not gonna make a 3 hour video on it and then say I'm revisiting this film to see if my opinion has changed, which it hasn't because I'm a grown up.
Hashtag remake Attack of the Clones.
Yep, I'm gonna make that petition.
What's odd about this one is that Palpatine looks weird in it. I find he looks like he's got like old age makeup put on him almost. It's
Well,
weird.
maybe. Yeah, I mean, it is 10 years later on from Phantom Menace, but
True.
maybe that's what they were trying. Maybe they were trying to imply that, as he got older, he looks more like what we see in Return of the Jedi, basically a
Yeah.
shriveled up old man.
Yeah.
Because, but then Revenge of the Sith just throws that out the window and says, "Oh no, he got lightning blasted into his face. That's why he looks like that."
Well, that's it. Revenge of the
Because
Sith doesn't have this kind of old age makeup look for him. It just has him like look like Ian McDiarmid. It's
yeah,
odd.
because yeah, I'd have guessed that the dark side is kind of like the One Ring in Lord of the Rings. It's a drug, and it obviously will make you look. It'll give you all that power, but it'll make you look ugly on the outside.
Yeah, it corrupt you. Like yeah, it would make sense.
Hmm. Oh, they screwed up Anakin Skywalker so much in this.
Mm, I don't blame
They
Hayden.
practically had. Oh, I don't
I
either.
don't
Yeah,
blame
they
Hayden.
practically had his backstory written out for him. He was a legendary Jedi who became evil. He was a good friend. But no, let's just make him evil from the start.
Yeah, it's and I'm Obi-Wan's my favorite Star Wars character, but in this, I think Obi-Wan, he's not unreasonable, but he does sometimes add to that feeling because he's just constantly, oh, he'll be the death of me, and so it just adds to that feeling that these two
Yeah,
hate each other.
yeah. There's no. This is what Episode 2 really should have done, shown how great a friends these two were, but it just really doesn't, because you know
Mm,
half the time they seem to hate each other, and it's the same with Anakin and Padme, because they don't act like they're in love. They act like they hate each other most of
yeah,
the time.
and it's really odd, like coming off of the Phantom Menace, where it was kind of all set up and put into place that oh yeah, those two were gonna start a romance, those two were gonna become really good friends and allies, and it's just weird like coming directly into this really
Yeah.
awkward relationship between Anakin and his friends.
Mm. And of course, now, yeah, I think the other problem that I think most people have with this film is that it feels like so little was learnt from the mistakes made in Phantom Menace. I'd
Yeah,
argue the only one they learnt was less Jar Jar Binks.
less Jar Jar. Yeah, but even then, he makes Jar Jar be the catalyst for the events that set up the
Yep.
original trilogy. And
Yep, more or less.
yeah,
I wonder if that was George's, screw you to the fans, as if to say, okay, I won't have him play a prominent part, but you know what? He's gonna be the cause of all this.
he's gonna be the Jar Jar's the key to all this.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Rose Byrne is it? That's Rose Byrne as the woman next to next to Padme. It's so it's another example of these prequels just having actors that went on to be massive, and
Yeah. And also, Jar Jar just looked at the camera.
yes, he did, yeah. And just grinned
As if to say, Misa's still here. Because I think by Revenge of the Sith, he literally has 2 appearances. Oh wait, maybe 3. 3. They're practically blink and you'll miss it, and he has one line, which is like, "Excuse me."
Yes, yeah, yes.
Because I think he appears at, after they rescue Palpatine in Revenge of the Sith. I think he appears briefly at the Senate meeting, and then he appears at the end at Naboo, and that's it.
Yeah, that's it. It's and they were wise to do that, I think. But as much as yeah, I'll tell you, I really like the design of Coruscant at night. It's
It does look really good,
bathed
yeah.
in neon, and there's more than a little bit of Blade Runner in there. And I like the neon aesthetic, and we'll get to it in a minute. But the whole chase through the city is really cool. It's a really cool sequence.
No one sleeps like
Padme
that.
sleeping like a
Putting their
supermodel.
putting their hand up on their cheek. That's just made you uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Anakin's dialogue. It's so bad. I'd rather dream about Padme.
Yes, yeah.
Oh God.
Thing is, it'd be one thing if the film played all that creepiness from Anakin as a character flaw, as the fact that he is a young man trying to wrestle with his feelings and stuff, and just being a complete twat. It would be but the film doesn't seem to the film seems to be on Anakin's side. It doesn't seem to.
Exactly.
Yeah, it just seems to support that. It doesn't present that ironically. It doesn't present that as a character flaw. It's just.
Yeah, and you could make they could have made something interesting out of this. He doesn't know how to fall in love or, speak to women normally because he's had all that training as a Jedi, and they have to let go of personal attachments and things like that.
Yeah, exactly, and I think if the film went down that route and that angle and commenting on that, just aside from taking it at face value, I think it'd work. But unfortunately, it just we get scenes where he's like, "Oh, you're welcome, milady," and just looks like looks terrifying, and it's yeah.
I mean, God knows what he was doing under those robes.
Oh yeah, dirty bastard!
Dirty bastard! Why is it using caterpillars? Why not just use a bomb?
It's weird, isn't it? Because if it can get through the window, I'm pretty sure that shooting a bomb will be so much quicker.
Yeah, exactly.
It might not be the most discreet thing in the world, but I mean, come on. Come on. And R2's about as useful as a chocolate teapot here. What
yeah.
His aim is to be there as a security droid, but he doesn't. He just looks around once.
See anything? Yeah.
He doesn't bother to move and have a look round the corner. He's just like, oh, whatever. And just goes back to what he's doing, having a sleep. I've always thought that cut was a bit awkward. Like the whole mid-sentence, the whole
Yeah.
mid-sentence. Oh, I sent it to, and then it's a really. I don't know what it is about it. It feels like it's just abruptly cutting to. It feels odd. It's always felt a bit odd to me.
Yeah.
And this is unintentionally funny. You're right, milady. It's like, sake.
I mean, I'd be fine if you were in that bed being my decoy.
Yeah, I love all this stuff. I think all this stuff is visually really fun, and they really play
it
around
is.
with this. And the colours and everything.
Just
like
reminds me of Back to the Future Part 2.
It does, yeah. I think this is the first time we really saw like a city in Star Wars, because we had Cloud City.
Yeah.
We had Cloud City, but even we didn't get the scope of this. This was the first time we saw like this thriving, huge cityscape in Star Wars, and this one really takes advantage of that. I really like it.
Yeah, and and again the sound design is incredible.
Oh, it is, yeah. And
they say Zam. Now Zam, the bounty hunter, they say she's a changeling, but we only see that once.
Yeah.
And I felt when they follow into the bar, she could have disguised herself as, I think the unusual suspect brought it up, disguised herself as Obi-Wan. Approaches Anakin. Anakin gets his saber out and injures her, but you think he's killed Obi-Wan, but no, it changes back to Zam, and it shows how powerful Anakin is.
Would have been a really cool bait and switch. It's just like, it's just missed opportunity. You introduce a shapeshifter, and all you do is turn her into like this weird dinosaur thing that flashes up for a few seconds. It's weird. It's really odd. It's why bother making her a shapeshifter? It's just weird.
And I just realised this film introduces that whole I hate the whole Obi-Wan's. Oh, I hate flying.
Yeah.
I don't mind flying, but what you're doing is suicide.
I do quite like the banter between those two at points. Like this, I think the banter between them works. Later on, when they get into the arena, the banter there works. It's just, I wish they kept that up. And like the whole thing, people have pointed this out before, of like them constantly referring to each other as my very young Padawan, my fairly young apprentice, my old master. It's like, come on, if they're meant to be friends, like you don't. If you're friends with like your co-worker at work, you don't go up to them and go, "Hello, my young co-worker. Hello, my slightly older than me co-worker." Like it's just odd. It's just really odd. Remember this level on Lego Star Wars was fun. Because you had to
you had to shoot the electric or something.
Yeah, you had to disable the electric gates in the speedo. It was really, really cool. So this is actually a weird little thing that for the first Blu-ray of this, they've rearranged all of these shots, and like this whole sequence is like re-edited. But if you listen to the audio, there's jumps in the audio, and they haven't actually edited it properly. It's really weird. I don't. It's just odd. I would have quite liked to have seen this in 3D though. When they re-released it, it's a shame.
Yeah, I bet this chase scene would have looked good.
It would have been cool. It would have been really cool. I mean, that's the one thing you can't deny about these films, is the imagination is really cool.
Yeah, that's the thing. I think George Lucas is an ideas man, a very good ideas man, but I just think he needs help with execution.
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, I think don't turn the audio off because you miss out on the music and the sound design. But like, if you looked at this without the sound on and it was just playing in the background or something, it'd be pretty cool. Because like the visuals and stuff, the colours, and it like, but it's just and the CGI as well. Not so much in this early part. It's later on. I think the CGI really starts to
Show its age.
not hold up very well.
I hate it when he does that. How often does he jump out
yeah.
of a speeder like that?
Yeah, round about here we get a flash of like her true form, and it's just
Yeah. And yeah, as you said earlier, I don't blame Hayden at all because,
no.
obviously, like Jake Lloyd, he didn't write Anakin's dialogue. And, yeah, I'm not going to say, I don't think it's a good performance that he gives, but, yeah, not even Laurence Olivier could make I Don't Like Sand sound natural.
Yeah, exactly. That's the thing. It's not. He's not great in this, and I don't think he's like. I don't think he's the best of actors anyway, but I don't think he's bad at.
Yeah.
I don't think he's a bad actor, and
Yeah,
think at points
when he's not, I think particularly in Sith, when he's not saying any dialogue, he can look pretty intimidating.
Yeah, for sure.
Particularly on the fight on Mustafar, that was he does look pretty good there. Particularly when he's killing all the separatists, no dialogue, he can be good.
Absolutely, I think he's a good actor when he wants to be. I don't think he's a great actor, but when he wants to be, I think he's pretty good. And it's a shame that I think he could have been a big star. It's just a shame that his career never really. He did these, and that's kind of.
Doesn't he live on a farm now?
Probably, yeah. I don't know. I mean,
yeah.
He's he's been quite outspoken about it. How like the internet hate as well. And he's still quite involved in the Star Wars community. Like he was in Star Wars Celebration and things, and so, the host asked him the question like, "Oh, do you like sand?" And you could see on his face he was like, "Oh, fucking hell, here we go." But he answered like quite genuinely and seriously, and it's like props to him because he could easily just say, "Oh, you know what, piss off." He could easily just say that, but no, he's cool. And of course he's coming back as Darth Vader in Kenobi, but
yeah, I don't know what they're doing with that.
No,
so is he going to be in this? Is he going to be in the suit? And is James Earl Jones doing the voice? But yeah, I don't know.
I put money on there being like de-aged flashbacks at one point. Like I.
It wouldn't surprise me. I mean, to be fair, he's not aged that much, so I still think he could pass for Anakin Skywalker.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's hard to believe that this film is 20 years old next year. It's so weird to think of. It's the same because same year as Spider-Man, same year as Two Towers. It's weird to think those are 20 years old this year.
Yeah, interestingly enough, out of the Skywalker saga, not counting the spin-off films, it's the lowest grossing one.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Yeah, it was. I think it only grossed 600 million worldwide. I mean, obviously Solo is the lowest with 300 million, but
Solo.
Yeah.
Maybe it's just because like the fallout from the first one, and I guess people were like, I'll come back for the third one when it all kicks off. Because it is true, there's a lot of like unnecessary. I mean, the Phantom Menace basically just doesn't factor into this at all. You could just cut straight to this and get the gist.
The death sticks.
I really like that moment. That's funny.
That should be a don't do drugs advert, kids.
Well, again, that's another thing of George Lucas going, these films are for kids. I'm gonna put in an anti-drugs message, anti-smoking message. Because it's not hard to read between the lines there. Death sticks, cigarettes. There's cameos here from Anthony Daniels, isn't there, and Ahmed Best.
There is, yeah. Now I'm trying very hard to spot them.
It's in the quick cuts now when it all kicks off.
I just realised once again this is like in A New Hope. They go in. Yeah, there they are.
There they are.
Yeah. I just realised this is exactly the same scene in A New Hope where
basically
they go into the cantina, meet the I don't like you either guy, and then cut his hand off.
Foreshadowing.
Honestly, that
it's like poetry.
that's happened to me so many. that type of scenario has happened to me so many times on Twitter. Like, you get someone just randomly saying to you, he doesn't like you. Oh, I don't like you either. You don't even know who I
Yeah.
am.
Oh God.
Yeah. Well, that scene in Avengers Endgame, you took everything from me. I don't even know who you are.
Yeah. Not my doctors to Chris Chibnall.
uh, oh, yeah. Now, in this film, we're introduced to Jango Fett, father of Boba Fett. So, could we trace the origins of the Mandalorian to this?
Basically, yeah. uh,
Yeah, because
yeah,
obviously we see Mandalore in Clone Wars, and then it's carried on,
yeah.
I think, into
It's a
yeah. So,
huge part of the cartoons, and then obviously now there's a whole
mhm,
bloody TV series about a Mandalorian. Uh,
mhm.
so yeah, it's kind of nuts that that whole part of the Star Wars universe has grown so massive to the point there's now 2 seasons of a TV show about it. It's it's cool.
Like, I remember people saying about Doctor Who, they were saying about Time Lord Victorious, how can they make a TV series about one line of dialogue?
Yeah,
And Star Wars fans are probably like, first time, eh?
yeah,
You fought in the Clone Wars?
yes, yeah.
Yeah, they make that and boom, it's a TV series.
It seems like this that just they drag so much because it is just
Yeah.
two people in front of a green screen going, "Oh yes, oh yes, indeed, yes, me too." It's just like,
You will become a powerful Jedi.
yeah.
Oh, yeah, we get it.
I think interestingly enough that the IMAX version of this had to have 20 minutes cut out of it,
Oh, I
because at
see.
the time IMAX couldn't hold more than 2 hours of film, so they had to cut
Ah,
20 minutes from. And I'd quite like to see that version because it seems like it'd be a lot more
yeah.
streamlined. It seems like it would just
Hmm.
move at a quicker pace, and
And again, this has not aged
no,
well.
it
Look at
hasn't.
that background.
It really hasn't. It's
It baffles me why he relied so much on CGI.
mm, I mean, this really does look like a game. If you didn't have Ewan
Yeah.
McGregor and Samuel L. Jackson there, it would look like a video game. And I know that gets brought up a lot, but it's true.
Hmm.
It does genuinely look like a cutscene. It doesn't look
Yep.
real. It really doesn't look real. That's the thing. I think people have pointed out. Once the prequels pick up speed, once they're in the action scenes, they're awesome. Once it slows
Hmm.
down, that's when the cracks show. As soon as it slows down, the cracks show.
Yep. Why would you pick Jar Jar to be your
Yeah,
replacement?
It's the little rabbit thing.
Frog rabbit
Frog
hybrid.
rabbit thing. I don't know what it's even.
Yeah, we're getting that creepy look.
Yeah,
Sorry, my lady. Oh,
it's weird. It's just.
no.
And like I said, if the film played on that and commented on it, it'd be fine. But it doesn't. It accepts us to take that face value.
Hmm. I mean, Padme's no better because, yeah, in this film and then Revenge of the Sith, she's just a huge walking plot convenience.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, they've got to get married by the end. Oh, wait, we've written Anakin to be the most worst piece of shit imaginable. Um, who cares? They've got to get married. Do it.
And I
Revenge
find
of the Sith. She's married to a psychopath who murdered children, and he still carries that on even when he does turn to the dark side.
yeah,
Oh
that's the
shit.
thing.
She's got a broken heart. Just say it.
I find some of this how this film treats Padme a little creepy because she was
Yeah.
how old was Natalie Portman when she did Phantom Menace? Like 16, So
15,
15,
16,
16. So
yeah.
this is only a couple of years later, and they're dressing
And
her in
she's
really revealing outfits. And this is clearly the one where they've gone, oh, we've got a. She's supposed to be sexy in this one, so let's dress her in all these revealing outfits. And it's like, once you know how old she was, it's a bit like, I don't know. It's just odd to me. It's a little
well,
bit
he's
creepy.
19. Well, isn't he a few years younger than her?
Yes, yeah, in the
I mean,
universe,
in the
yeah.
film, I mean, yeah.
Yeah, that's the thing. In
Because,
universe, she's meant to be 10 years older, but in reality, it's just like,
yeah,
and like you said, I think he's 19 in this, 20 maybe, and she's supposed to be like
I'd say 19, yeah.
19, and she's supposed to be like 26, 25, 26.
Yeah. Yeah, they do refer to that god as Captain, so it could be
It could be
Panaka.
Panaka. If you look on Wikipedia, there'll probably be some like 5-page article written about him.
Yep. And probably some video explaining why it should have been Captain Panaka,
Yeah.
who should have been in spaceship number 6570 at the end of
Yeah.
Rise of Skywalker. Honestly, I think this is more padded than Phantom
I
Menace.
think it is. I really think it is.
Oh,
Phantom Menace at least sort of has like a clear trajectory of where it wants to go. This one just kind of, and I think it's all down to splitting them all up, because I think
yeah.
Obi-Wan has his own little adventure with Django and discovering all that, and then this just sends Anakin and Padme off frolicking about in a field for like an hour and a half before we
Yep.
pick up with them again. It's just they're not really doing anything really. He's just literally there trying to protect her, and the all romance, falling in love, but there's not. They don't go through anything to bring them together.
No, they
Wouldn't it
don't.
be a bit more effective if like there was an assassination attempt on her and he would have to defend her, and like after that they grow closer, and
I
instead of
mean,
just doing
I
nothing.
mean, it's like Han and Leia in Empire. They become closer because they're both on the run from the Empire.
Yeah, exactly.
And here they're on the run from assassins, but
Yeah,
they're not an they don't have a presence in the film,
there's no
unlike the Empire,
urgency.
because yeah, there's always cutting. We're always cutting back in Empire to the Imperials or Vader saying, I want that ship, or we'll use bounty
Mm,
hunters, or we have them, or something like that.
yeah, but there's no urgency for them there. The only bit of urgency we get is Anakin going, "Oh, my mum might be dead," and like, and that's that. It just, yeah. And here's Dexter Jettster, the best character in all of Star
Hey,
Wars.
hey, VFX artist, can you animate shit? Yes. Oh, yeah, this whole diner, it looks like something out of Spaceballs. Heck, that
Yes, yeah.
waitress robot is the same one that Joan Rivers voiced. It's
Yeah. It's
oh,
it's too it's too much of something that's based in our reality, because it's one
yeah,
thing having a cantina that looks like a bar. It's another thing
yeah.
having a diner that looks like a diner from the 1950s. It's
I
too much
know.
of a visual link to our world for it to really be effective. I
Hmm.
like the idea of it, and I like that. Again, I really like seeing more of these planets and how life works, but it's just, yeah, it's just odd. And the CGI on Dexter Jettster is like
It's
really
so
dodgy,
awful.
really
It just
dodgy.
looks like it just looks like a walking pile of shit with arms and
And
legs.
a
Whose
mustache.
idea was it? Yeah. Oh,
This is cool though. The library, we get to see this is quite heavily featured in the Clone Wars, and we get that one episode where like there's this whole lightsaber fight in the library. I like all this. But
yeah.
again, that's me bringing my knowledge of the Clone Wars into it to try and liven things up a bit, because it's just like,
yeah, and just looking at the background of this, it just looks so flat and like, was this
Yeah.
really revolutionary for 2002?
I mean, that's the thing, isn't it? Because you sort of, this came out the same year as Two Towers, and in Two Towers, the
Which had
CGI is actually
was
revolutionary.
revolutionary. It had Gollum.
Gollum, yeah, exactly. And
Hmm.
I don't think the CGI in Two Towers completely holds up. There's a few rough bits in there.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Um,
Hmm.
this same year as Spider-Man, which has the infamous sort of dodgy CGI when he's running across the buildings and he looks really rubbery. So it was,
Yeah.
and Chamber of Secrets as well. Like none of
Hmm.
those films have CGI that is completely flawless. But I think the difference between this and those three is that those three aren't completely CGI. There's not every scene isn't CGI for them, whereas this is
Yeah.
every
It's
single thing.
practically everywhere here.
Yeah,
Oh.
it's so dense. Every single frame has blah 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 blah. I can't remember. Was this the
Yeah.
film that he was referring to when he said that, or is it Revenge of the Sith? I can't
It
remember
might be
which one.
this Revenge of the Sith. I don't know, because Revenge of the Sith. It might be even worse, because
Mm.
I don't even know if they ever went on location for anything.
I think they did for Tatooine because um,
Ah, right.
there's
Okay.
footage. There's like on the old Star Wars website, you could pay and you could watch some footage from the set of this. And there's an infamous clip where the interviewer says to George Lucas, "So what are you doing now?" And he says, "Oh, we're just doing some stuff for Episode 3 because we're here and we want to use this set in Episode 3, so we might as well just do it now." So they actually
Ah,
shot
okay.
they shot that last bit of Revenge of the Sith at the same time they were
Mhm.
filming this. Which I mean, it does make
Cause
sense because it's like it makes sense
yeah,
not to
cause with
fly them over.
here, yeah, cause with this film, at least I think Naboo is definitely shot on location. The exterior shots.
Yeah, yes,
Yeah.
it is. Yeah, and you get
Let's
yeah.
let's give these 5-year-olds killer weapons.
Yeah. And there's that one kid that's like pointing it towards his chest as well. He's just like
Yeah,
fiddling about
just
with
turns it on.
it.
Yeah. Lost a planet, Master Obi-Wan has. How embarrassing. That sounds
How
familiar. Oh yeah, it was.
embarrassing.
Oh yeah, it was the critics' review for this film.
But it's odd. It's really I don't get this whole thing because they're like in Phantom Menace they're like, oh, Anakin's too old to be trained, and it's like, how young do you want him to be? And judging from this, it's like
Exactly.
3 years old, 4 years old. It's like
Mhm.
what?
Yeah, because I've heard people defend that decision, saying, oh, but he's old enough to develop dark side tendencies because he's left his mother. Yeah, but what about these kids? Surely they must have left their
Yeah,
parents.
stupid kids
Uh,
don't know any different. It's like yeah, I don't get. This makes it sound like they're bred from birth almost. It's
yeah.
really weird.
Oh, come on, Yoda. We know these younglings have no future. Prove me wrong, kids. Prove me wrong.
So yeah, the Yoda CGI in this isn't well, it isn't as good as the Episode 3 one, and it now isn't as good as the Episode 1 version.
Yep.
Because that was obviously done in 2011, so it's like. So it's just
I
got
mean,
this
yeah, I
film
can.
in the middle of the trilogy that looks slightly worse than the other two.
Yeah, I'll always prefer the puppet version because, it just looks more alive and expressive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, actually, there's footage, isn't there? They did for the test footage for this. They did by recreating scenes from Empire Strikes Back and replacing the
Yeah.
puppet in Empire with CGI, and that was what proved to George Lucas and Frank Oz that it could work.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, that's all location stuff, isn't it? With a bit of like CGI tweaking, I think it looks
Yeah.
quite yeah, like all this on the steps and everything.
But R2's grumbling. He's like, oh, we had to go to a
Yeah.
place with steps. Beep, bop, boop, meow. Stop complaining, R2.
Yeah, because I think there's footage of them like I don't know where this is filmed, but like in Venice or something. And these two like riding
Hmm.
along the canal and things, and fair play for getting him back from Phantom Menace. It's
Oh yeah, the bearded
the
guy.
bearded guy.
Can't remember what he's called. Yeah.
His name is like Soy Bibble or something. It's like
Oh.
some really stupid name. It's it's really.
Ugh. Hmm.
Oh, Co Bibble. Sio Bibble is his
Ah.
name. Yeah, just this whole bit just feels so like it just
Yeah.
feels redundant. It just really feels
Again,
redundant.
because and then also they're arguing again. It's like I'm in
Yeah,
charge of security. Well, this is my home.
yeah, you're right. It's there's
I am not convinced these two are in love.
they're constantly at each other's
It's a
throats.
worse love story than
Yeah,
Twilight.
I like I like that little docking thing that his spaceship goes into. Because I remember
Hmm.
in the Clone Wars Lego game, you could like use those things to like launch your ship really far. It was really fun.
Cool.
And like the water world here, it's so good. It's brilliant. Like
Yeah, that's
imagination and
creative. A water world. Yeah.
yeah,
I don't think that rain was CGI though. I think they actually soaked Ewan McGregor.
yeah. It looks. He probably was freezing as well. Like with all that, it's.
Yeah.
Actually,
Looks like a walking sperm.
and maybe that's the point because they're obviously they're birthing.
Oh
I
yeah.
think that might actually be the point.
Yeah. Hmm.
I think the CGI on these things actually holds up fairly well. I think that. Uh,
Yeah, they're not too
yeah, they
bad.
look
Yeah.
alright. The close-up shots especially look pretty good.
It's really brightly lit.
Really bright. Yeah, it's.
Yeah. Now they mentioned Cypher Diaz is the one who initiated this clone army.
Yeah.
Is that supposed to be? Was it Count Dooku using a false name, or was it Sidious?
There's. I
I don't think we ever find out.
no. That's that whole Cypher Diaz thing is really poorly explained in this. Um,
Hmm.
but which is interesting because it's supposed to be like quite crucial to. I think he was Cypher Diaz, and please, any Star Wars fans, correct us. Cypher Diaz, I believe, was an actual Jedi. He was a human because I think he turns up in the Clone Wars as like a hologram. I'm sure. I think I seem to
Oh
remember.
right, okay.
And yeah, it's sort of the Sith used him to sort of they manipulated him to get this clone army in motion and get the
Oh yeah, because Obi-Wan does say he was killed 10 years ago.
yeah.
Here's a plot twist. What if it was actually Qui-Gon?
Well,
Killed 10 years ago, like
I
in
used to think
this
that was
Phantom
the
Menace was 10
case.
years ago.
I when I was a kid, I used to
Hmm.
think that was what he meant. But yeah,
Hmm.
he was sort of manipulated by by the Sith and to put the chips in the clones' heads and stuff, which made them go all evil in
Ah,
Order
yeah.
66 and everything, and finding about that whole
Yeah.
conspiracy and
I
such.
know that whole I know that whole chip thing is a little bit controversial amongst fans because in Battlefront 2, the original, you play as a 501st
Mm.
soldier, and they make it clear that they knew that that day was going to come where they turn on the Jedi,
Yes.
and
Yeah.
they did it of their own free will. They weren't controlled. Whereas Clone Wars fixes, well, not fixes, but basically says, um, because with Clone Wars, they become attached to the Jedi as friends and see them
Yeah.
as comrades.
Yeah.
So you think, well, how are they gonna kill them when the time comes? But yeah, I think the chip idea does work.
I much prefer the chip idea because it's way more tragic and it's way more
Yeah, and they
emotionally
just keep.
impactful.
I think it's Fives who keeps repeating, good soldiers follow
Good
orders.
soldiers follow orders. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Here's the infamous, infamous dialogue. I don't get
Oh,
these actors in this film. They have this weird inflection on their voices as well, like that whole bit there that like it gets everywhere. Like I don't get what's
maybe
with
it's
these
everywhere.
weird inflections on their voices. It's really odd. It's really weird.
Yeah. Why are you touching her
It's
like that? This is creepy.
if you if you got a crush on a girl, talk about sand while slightly stroking her arm. That'll do it. God
Yeah.
damn it! Like Jesus.
I mean, maybe that's why I can't get a girlfriend. Yeah. I'll say this: I love the soundtrack Across the
Oh.
Stars. It's a really great romantic theme, which you don't hear much in Star Wars because for obvious reasons.
Mm,
But
yeah.
yeah,
It's
and it just
brilliant.
makes me sad that John Williams hasn't done more romantic films.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I'm sure he'd be good at them.
Across the Stars, like it later on, we get one of my like goosebump moments. I call them when it's when they're like led into the arena and the music just swell and Across the Stars just swells and they're led into the arena. So that is one of the like my favorite scenes in the saga. I love it,
Hmm.
and it's all because of the music. If it's that's real. That's it.
Yeah, and I know some people did complain about this film, saying, the stormtroopers in the original trilogy weren't clones; they were different people.
Mm.
But I think it was established that the clones grew too quickly, so the Empire just started recruiting normal
Yeah, because
humans.
in Rebels you see Captain Rex and he's really old and he's got a big white
Yeah,
beard and
obviously he's
things
aged
because
quicker.
he's aged quicker than a normal human would. Um.
Oh, I can remember. There's like an extra in Return of the Jedi during the Endor battle who
Oh
looks
yes,
suspiciously like Captain Rex as an old man,
yes.
and so many people have said that that's Captain
It's
Rex, and I'm
been like
like,
being retconned now into canon, and it's like because I actually think that is canon
uh,
on the Star Wars wiki. It's like oh he served in the Battle of Endor, and it's just like
I
yeah,
guess that's cool. Yeah,
it is cool, but it is just like a tenuous link. It's such a tenuous
yeah.
link.
I know. Alec Guinness put it best when he was asked about Star Wars in an interview. He said, "Yeah, I think there's some people out there who are going to take this a little too seriously."
Yes,
How little did he know? Yeah, this is a really nice
it
location.
is.
Waterfall, green grass. Oh yeah, and I think Anakin blatantly admits here he supports a fascist dictatorship. He's saying like one person should make all the decisions and they should be forced to listen.
Yeah, he's like
So she's fine with it here, but says, when he
she's
says I've joined the new empire and we can rule the galaxy, she's like, I don't believe what I'm
yeah
hearing.
she's
Oh, why does no one bring it
she's
up?
basically
Am I
dating
going mad?
she's basically dating Ben Shapiro. It's like what ah
Well, who's more foolish, the fool or the fool who follows him? I've murdered men, women, and children. To be angry is to be human. Revenge of the Sith.
oh.
I've murdered men, women, and children. I don't believe what I'm hearing. You've changed. No, he hasn't.
To be angry
He's
is
still
to
the
be
same.
human.
Oh.
Yeah, you're right, but there's a difference in being angry and murdering a whole tribe of...
She's as screwed as he is. No wonder they get together.
There's some nice banter there, though. That's the whole... Oh, I'm much too frightened
That's
to
probably
tease
the
the
only
censor.
good
That's
line
good.
they have.
It feels very natural. This whole bit of him riding the big flea thing, and like, is meant to be cute, but it just comes off as really weird. Again, it's just...
Yeah, because what he's riding just looks so weird.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, if you made it like I mean, if it was a CGI unicorn, I'd be okay with that because it's a bit more majestic.
Yeah.
But a giant brown blob—that's not very romantic.
No. That looks really awkward as well. I think they should have cut that before the second shot, because that just looks like them. Okay, just roll around and that. What do you mean roll around? Just roll, and it's just like them going, okay,
Roll around and stop.
It's just like...
Ah, yes, this is Boba Fett.
Yes, old Daniel Logan himself, who'd never seen Star Wars.
But it...
Never seen Star Wars.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he cast this kid, and he'd never seen any Star Wars before. And as preparation, he made... George Lucas made the kid watch the original trilogy in preparation.
Yeah, because I think there's a bonus feature where you see him looking for a Star Wars book that's got pictures of Boba Fett.
Yes, yeah.
And he's like, "Oh, cool, this is me."
Have you seen
I mean,
The Mandalorian?
No, not yet. I'll add it to the list.
I shall.
I know.
I shall not say anything then.
Now I know Tamura Morrison has said he'd like to come back as Captain Rex in a spin-off movie or a live-action TV series, and yeah, I'd love to see that.
His armor is in full view. He's not hiding it.
You can see it.
He isn't hiding it.
Oh.
There's no attempt to hide that at all. It's just there.
I know. I can totally see your armor. Possibly. No, there's no possibly about it. I can see it.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not bothered about Mandalorian spoilers, but have they brought him back as Boba Fett for Tamura Morrison?
They have indeed. In season 2.
Yeah.
In season 2, there's he
I think I saw it online anyway. That they brought back Boba Fett.
Yeah, he and they don't just bring back Boba Fett. They actually make Boba Fett do something. It's not like him.
Oh, nice.
Not like in Return of the Jedi and Empire Strikes Back, where he basically just stands around looking cool. You see him as an older man, but granted he is older, but you see him fighting and being a badass, and it's basically...
How did he
cool.
get out of the Sarlacc pit? Did he climb out?
They basically say he climbed out. Yeah, he's all scarred in the Mandalorian. He's like bald and shit, and it's...
Oh.
Yeah,
I knew they'd do that anyway.
Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty sure it was like unofficially accepted as gospel. Because I feel like that story's been going around for years that he climbed his way out, but yeah.
Even this bloody piece of fruit is CGI.
And if you watch her mouth, it just like slides in. Like, it's so weird. It just like slides into her mouth. It's just odd. Why are they eating CGI fruit? And this scene comes out of nowhere. Like I can accept all the stuff of them falling in love, blah blah blah, and then you just get this weird scene of them being really weird and serious.
Yeah.
And like, I'm
I'm
haunted by the
haunted by the
kiss you
kiss
should never have given
that
me.
you should never have given.
And she's
I mean, look at what she's
dressed
wearing.
like a porn star. She's dressed like a porn star. This whole thing just comes out of nowhere. It's so weird. It's just the film just jumps to them being really uncomfortable again.
I mean, her twins are practically on display here.
And it's odd because the previous few scenes with these two have been them frolicking in a field, laughing, eating a meal together, having a laugh, and you just
And
cut
now it's
straight to
all
this.
serious.
And they're talking and like fair, and you know, for all its flaws, the previous scenes have been fairly natural in terms of their performances, and this just comes back to them reading weird, inhuman dialogue. It's odd. It's so weird. It just, yeah. And it looks like a porn parody as well. It really does. It just looks. It looks like the start of a porn film. If we follow our thoughts through the conclusion, it will take us to a place that we cannot go. It's just so like.
I know, it's so stilted.
It's so
I mean,
stilted.
what? Oh. I mean, it seems like this when sometimes I get baffled when people say the prequels are better than the sequels. Ugh.
Yeah, this is the thing. The prequels.
I mean, fair enough if people do like the prequels, but
Yeah.
and they think they're better than the sequels, but
It's when people say like, "Oh, objectively they're better films." It's just like what.
no.
And this is the thing. It kind of annoys me honestly now actually because I used to be a really big defender of these. I used to be the one on the internet going, "No, they're not that bad. You know, I like them." And then the sequels came out, and suddenly now everyone who agrees with me from like 10 years ago. Everyone is acting like I was 10 years ago, and I'm the one going, well, hang on a minute. Where were you when I was defending the prequels in 2010, 2011? And I'm just like, I don't know.
Yeah, trust me. Yeah, trust me. The internet told me to hate something, but now they're telling me to like it, so I have to do that.
Yeah, it's like, but it's just like, well, like...
Yeah, it's literally that.
And that's why I think the sequels, in about 10 years, 10, 20
I
years...
like it.
They might... I honestly think the sequel's reputation is just going to be really skyrocketed, because we're going to get people on the internet who were kids now, who are grown up and can have a voice for themselves.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and I bet there was so many kids who, the prequels, they were introduced to Star Wars like that, and I think that's cool.
Well, I mean me.
Heck, the first Star Wars film I watched was Revenge of the Sith.
Yeah, exactly. And this was my Star Wars. I mean, I know I wasn't a fan when these were coming out initially, but this was sort of the era that I grew up with.
Yeah, that's the thing. The original trilogy just keeps getting better and better for me, but the prequels just become more boring to me as I get older.
Yeah, I get you. Yeah.
I mean, Yoda's about to say to Obi-Wan about Jango Fett, "Bring him here. Question him, we will."
Yeah.
How are you going to bring him here? There's only one seat in his spaceship.
Yeah, exactly.
What's he going to do? Strap him to the top of his spaceship?
Also,
I saw that scene in Family Guy when they get the couch. All right, twist it counterclockwise. I am twisting it. All right, here we go. You get in the cockpit, and I'll just hold on to this thing as we go.
Also, why can't Obi-Wan get in his ship and speak there? It just looks like he's just standing in the pouring rain, trying to speak to them. It's like, why can't he just get in the ship and do it? It's just like...
I mean, taken out of context and what he's doing there, and after
Yes.
all those scenes with Padme, it looks like he's doing something
Yeah,
else.
well, I wonder if that was the motivation behind the change that they did for the Blu-ray, where they added Shami's voice going, Annie, Annie, no. I wonder if that was the motivation
Yeah.
behind that, because someone was like, without that voice, it kind of looks a bit dodgy. So
Yep.
with the Blu-ray, they added
No.
the voice.
Yeah.
That's a really nice image of him standing. It's a good
Yeah.
shot.
Because I think my big problem, another problem I have with the prequels is that I think Menace and Clones, they have so little plot to work with,
Mm.
and they just feel like a chore to sit through.
Yes, yeah.
Whereas Revenge of the Sith, I mean, it's kind of an advantage and a disadvantage. It's got so much to work with and get through to put everything where it needs to be for
Yeah.
the original films that, I mean, on one hand, it means that the film's not really boring that much, but on the other hand, it feels like everything's rushed.
Yeah. Exactly, yeah.
We're only an hour in. It
I
feels
know.
like so much longer.
But this was
Christ
at a point
above.
the longest Star Wars film before the sequels came along. Because I think
Yeah, because
Revenge of the
I mean,
Sith
Last Jedi I
is
think is the longest.
yeah, Last Jedi's the longest now. Yeah, but that Last Jedi, and as much as people like to rag on the Canto Bite stuff, I can happily watch Last Jedi.
That only lasts about
half an
that
hour.
only lasts about yeah.
Yeah,
No, I think it's less than that. I think it's like 15
it's
minutes.
not too long. No.
And people say, yeah, and people say, ooh, it takes everything down. It's the
Yeah.
worst part of the film. And yeah, fair enough if you don't like it, but it's not that long.
It's not that long, and also I can watch The Last Jedi, and it can feel like an hour and a half film to me. Whereas,
And I bet
yeah,
those people are the same who say, "Oh, stop criticizing the Senate scenes in the prequels. They're not that long."
yeah,
Hypocritical much? Now this fight I think is pretty cool.
it is cool.
Because I mean, Obi-Wan has to fight without his lightsaber. That's a pretty nice change.
It's fun, and it's got a
Yeah.
nice bit of humor to it. Like when his hands
Yeah.
get tangled in the rope, and he goes, "Oh, not good." You know, it's got a nice bit of like,
Yeah, do not pause it when he's about to flip over
oh
because his
no,
face
yeah,
looks so
the
weird.
CGI face, yeah. But yeah, no, this is all fun. This is all good stuff. It's inventive.
Yeah.
Yeah, like here he goes, "Oh, not good, not good." Oh, it might be later on, but yeah,
Yeah.
it's all good stuff. It's all good stuff, and that's what I mean. The prequels come alive when there's action like this. Like this is all visually a lot of fun, and it's engaging and entertaining. And then as soon as it slows down, it gets dull again.
Here it is.
Oh, not good. Yeah, yeah. It's cool. And they add, I like Revenge of the Sith as well. They add a bit of humor like to that opening scene. And as a kid, I actually, after having watched these two, I actually genuinely remember as a kid watching the opening of Revenge of the Sith and thinking, "Wow, this is so much funnier." And I remember thinking at the time,
Yeah,
thinking, "Oh, is this kind of a joke? Is this like no? It was literally just because that these first two have so little humor to them. It's like
There is no way he can climb back up that.
yes,
No way.
No, it's just slope. You're gonna go down.
And it's wet.
Yes. This scene did give us this film did give us one of the best Star Wars games though. This gave us Bounty Hunter on the PS2.
I've not played that, but I've heard it's
It
quite
is good. It's decent. It's a decent game. You play around as a Django and you go around hunting bounties. It's pretty good. It's a lot of fun, and it's got a really cool story to it as well. God, yeah, my memories of the film get a bit mixed up here because in my mind, with all this, in my mind, we've already had the bit with Obi-Wan on Geonosis and Obi-Wan, but no, we're still like half an hour away from all that. we're still so
Yeah,
far away from all that happening.
yeah, because yeah, I kept getting confused as a kid because I thought they were still on Tatooine when the whole Geonosis battle happens. It's
Yeah,
because they look so
they
similar.
do.
Yeah.
Okay, okay.
Hmm.
I like seeing Watto like 10 years later, and he's completely like
Uh,
ruined. I like seeing
he's
that.
completely broke.
Yeah, I like seeing that. It's
Yeah,
kind of cool. It's nice. I'm a big fan of seeing characters like decades later. It's just one of those things that I
yeah.
enjoy seeing like characters evolve over a long period of time. And
Hmm.
Annie, little Annie. Here we go.
But one, but one thing I do like about this film is that they do introduce uh what they call Owen and Beru,
Yes, they do.
who
Yeah.
obviously we see in A New Hope. Yeah, and I think that was pretty important to establish them here because I think at the end of Revenge of the Sith, when Obi-Wan takes Luke to them, you'd probably be think, say if you weren't familiar with the original trilogy, you'd be thinking, wait, who are these people?
Yes, for sure. Yeah.
Hmm. But it's so weird with 3PO because okay, let's assume Shmi took 3PO with them to the Lars family. Then these two come along, they take 3PO with them, and they just say, "Oh, he's our
Oh, he's
protocol
ours
droid now."
now. Piss off.
Yeah, and then through a series of unfortunate events, he's then sold back to Owen.
Yes.
So shouldn't he be like, "Wait a minute, didn't you work for me?"
That's it. I
then my
mean, I guess you
then
could.
my stupid half brother took them.
I guess you can make the argument that because 3PO looks gold in that and he looks different, I guess you can make the argument that it's like, oh, he's just assuming that it's another protocol droid. But I know what you mean. I know
Yeah,
what you mean. Because 3PO doesn't really need to be in this. He's just in it, I think, just because it's like, gotta have C3PO in every Star Wars film. I think that's the only
yeah,
reason he's
that's
really in
true.
it.
Yeah. He's not in Solo, I just realised. Neither is
He isn't.
R2,
No,
I don't
that's the
think.
only film that R2 and 3PO aren't in. Because even in Rogue One, you've got that
So,
really shoehorned cameo of them going, Scarif, we're going to Scarif. Why doesn't anyone tell me these
yeah.
things?
I mean, it honestly wouldn't surprise me if in Solo, I don't know, Han was sitting in a bar, or waiting outside the door.
Yeah.
3PO and R2 were in front of him and they get turned away. They say, "We don't serve your kind here."
Yeah.
And he's like, "Yeah." Then they look at Han and, I don't know, Han says, "Maybe next time, buddy."
Yeah, that's the thing. Well, that's the kind of thing that film would do, to be fair. Oh,
Yeah.
here we go. Here we
Oh,
go.
oh yeah, these seismic
Oh, they're
charges are
so cool.
great.
They're so
And you can
cool.
use them in the new Battlefront 2
Yeah,
game.
here we go.
Thank you.
They're so cool. They are so.
And the way it cuts through the asteroids as well.
Yeah, you.
Hey, do you remember the asteroid chase from Empire? Look, we're doing
There's
it
loads
again.
of them. More asteroids than ever before.
The sequels just remind you of the original trilogy.
Look at the prequels.
Did you see the prequels? Yep.
They you said you don't care about Mandalorian spoilers. They did bring back the seismic charges for that.
No, that makes me happy.
There's a nice little bit where the episode sort of goes, you remember them? You remember them? And it sort of gives you what you want.
Yeah, oh yeah, I just want to say that the kid playing Boba Fett, I don't think he's very good.
Yeah, it's one of those things where I'm just like, he's a kid. I'm not, but yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
He's not brilliant.
I know he came
He's not
back
great.
to voice Boba Fett in the Clone Wars.
Yes, and he's a lot better there.
Yeah, definitely, yeah.
Because here, I mean, to be fair, here he doesn't have much to do other than go, fire! Dad, get him! Get him!
Yeah.
Fire!
Get him, dude!
And yeah, I guess, yeah, but he's a lot better in the Clone Wars when he actually has things to do.
Hmm. I know Robot Chicken did a really funny parody. I think for their third Star Wars parody, they kind of like did a narrative where you followed 4 characters
Yeah.
throughout the course of the 6 films at the time. You had Darth Vader, Palpatine, Boba Fett, and Gary the
Gary
Stormtrooper.
the Stormtrooper.
Yeah, they say it was him who burnt down Owen and Beru's home and it was an accident. He's like in the bathroom and he's like, "Do, do, 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 do." He looks at, I think there's like candles in the bathroom. He's looking at something which says, apply directly to your rectal area. And he
Oh
goes,
no.
ew. He knocks something over and it's a load of candles and the fire starts. He's like, oh shit.
Oh, brilliant.
And he's like, and he says to his work colleague or something, the other stormtrooper says, Carl, I think we better go. I don't think those were the droids we're looking for. And Baru's like, oh, don't be silly. You haven't finished your blue milk yet. No, I think we better go. And then I think he says, look. And it's Baru and Owen burning to death horrifically. And he says, no, walk in a straight line. We'll blame it on the sand people.
Oh, I need to watch those in full. I've only seen like bits and pieces of them.
Yeah, they're such a perfect parody.
Yeah.
They have me in fits of laughter.
God, we're only halfway through. this film like feels like we're near the. It feels like we should be nearing the end now.
I know. I mean, we're on Geonosis now,
Yeah,
so
it starts to pick up.
problem is, it just looks too similar to Tatooine, being very rocky and sandy.
Yeah, and like having like a predominantly orange kind of orangey, yellowy desert thing. Yeah.
I suppose. I mean, I think Padme later says Geonosis is not far from here, so maybe this whole area of the galaxy just has sand and rock planets.
I mean,
I do wonder. I was just gonna say, I do wonder they're farmers, but what exactly do they farm? They're in a desert.
Yeah, that's the thing. I don't know. They're just like.
Well. I mean, to be fair, in the original, it's basically there to say Luke's life is boring. He wants adventure, and that's it, really. Yeah.
I mean, I do love that the prequels are just one big tragedy. I do like that element because each film just gets closer and closer to just impending doom, and
yeah, they do. Yeah, they're technically stepbrothers then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess I'm your stepbrother, and that's Joel Edgerton, isn't it? He went on to be a fairly big actor.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, he's in like Great Gatsby, Comes at Night, Red Sparrow, Warrior. Yeah, he went on to be fairly big.
I wonder, is that blackcurrant juice? Isn't there a theory that Palpatine organized those Tusken Raiders to abduct his mother so he could turn to the dark side?
Yeah.
I don't like that because, as you've said, it's a huge tragedy. Like, sometimes things in life aren't planned; they just happen like that. Yeah. So yeah, I'd honestly prefer, it's just a coincidence. It just happens. Yeah, something
I
like
like
that.
to think that it's a coincidence that happens, and Palpatine uses that to his advantage in the next one. Because in the next one, he's like, "Oh, you always want revenge. Your mother was killed by the Sand People. It was only natural you wanted revenge." And so like the fact it's a coincidence, but he uses it to his advantage.
Hmm.
And I love,
I do like this upcoming. Yeah, this upcoming sequence is
I love
great.
this scene.
No
I
dialogue,
think it's
Duel of the
brilliant.
Fates, and yeah, it just tells you everything Anakin's going
Yeah,
through. He's looking from place to place, but not getting anywhere.
it's a really nice bit of visual storytelling because like these
Hmm.
silhouettes and stuff, and the orange sun and like growing redder and redder, like to mirror his anger and everything, and the Duel of the Fates. It's brilliant. I love it. It's a proper like
Hmm.
poster image, and I love the variation on the music here as well as he leaves. How it leads
Hmm.
into Duel of the Fates.
Yeah, because it's like the theme is like, is it the binary sunset? Is that what it's
Yeah, the
called?
Binary Sunset. Yeah.
Yeah, and when we first hear that in A New Hope, it's obviously something hopeful that Luke is going to find adventure.
Mm, mm.
But here, as we cut to Duel of the Fates, it's Anakin with vengeance and anger in his
Yeah, yeah.
heart.
It's so good.
Yeah.
This and
Hmm.
that's shot as well with the sand crawlers and stuff. Oh, it's really good.
Hmm. Mm. Looks like a giant beehive. I mean, I get that the Geonosians are supposed to be bugs or something, so that makes sense. Now, I think we're about, what, an hour and 15 minutes into the film, and now we finally
Yeah.
see our villain, Count Dooku.
And yeah, he.
Hmm.
I'll tell you what, Christopher Lee, he puts so much into this, as he does with everything. But
He does, yeah.
I've
I mean, his Dooku's quite similar to Christopher Lee's character in The Three Musketeers because he basically plays the henchman to Cardinal Richelieu who does all the dirty work and does all the fighting,
hmm,
and yeah, obviously does a lot of sword fighting. But it's so weird in those films because he keeps getting stabbed clearly through the chest and keeps coming
yeah,
back. I'm like, how are you still alive? but
he's Christopher Lee.
but
That's
yeah,
why he just survives and survives.
yeah. It would not surprise me if George Lucas saw the Musketeer films and thought, yes, he's my Count
Yeah.
Dooku.
He like he's just. I've never seen a Christopher Lee performance where I've been like, oh, he was a bit bad in that. He just
Hmm.
puts his all into it, and this what he's saying is basically nonsense, but he goes for it. He
But
really
yeah,
goes for it.
yeah, like in the next one, twice the pride, double the fall. What does that mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. And again, we have something that foreshadows Darth Vader, someone who turned their back on the Jedi
Yeah, yeah. That's yeah.
willingly. Yeah.
Willingly, yeah.
Now coming up here, obviously we see him slaughter the Sand People, but I think I, I mean I know it's a family film, but I think we should have seen him, slaughtering them all, just like in
Yeah.
a fit of
It just
rage.
cuts, doesn't it?
But
It's
but I also think, mm,
I don't know.
I think to do that you'd have to make Anakin a more likable person
Yeah.
in this film, because it had to be something you'd never see him do, and you'd have to establish how much of a nice guy he is at the start.
Exactly.
But
Yeah.
this is what happens when he lets his anger get the better of him. I'd have him, scream and shout, tearing down Sand People, tears in his eyes, like, saying, which basically say, I don't want to do this, but I have to kill you all. Something like that,
Oh
yeah.
yeah, it could have been a lot better. Yeah, I know what you mean. Could have been a lot stronger than cutting away. But also, I really like the
Hmm.
whole the bit with Yoda sat there. It is Yoda, isn't it? when it cuts to Yoda, like
It is, yeah.
it cuts to Yoda like listening to all this and stuff. I think that's quite powerful.
Yeah, and you can. I do like how you can hear Qui-Gon say, "Anakin, no."
Yes, yes, yeah. And is that Liam Neeson, or is that like did he do
I'm sure it is.
did he
Yeah,
do
I'm sure
new
that's Liam
did
Neeson.
he do new dialogue, or is that just like archive stuff from the Phantom Menace?
It could be
Could be
archived. I'm
archive.
not
Yeah,
sure, but I know he did. He did come back for the Clone Wars.
he did. Yep, yep. Came back for the few times actually. He, they did the
Yeah,
Mortis
and
trilogy,
can you
which was
hear
great.
his voice in? Can you hear his voice at the end of Rise of Skywalker?
Yeah, you can. Yeah,
I'm sure you
yeah,
can.
you can. Yeah,
Yeah.
he's. I'm pretty sure. But that's Rise of Skywalker. You heard the most popular Jedi. Then you had like people like Adi Gallia, and people like that.
Mhm.
They brought the voice actors back to do it. It's like, oh, fair play.
Mhm. Yeah, I do think. Obviously, because he's not saying anything, he does perform this grief really well, and
Yes, yeah.
the way his face changes from sadness to vengeance
Mm.
here.
And the music as well is
That's really
brilliant.
good. Yeah. Mhm.
And I think it's that's one of those flashes of brilliance from Hayden in this. There are lots of
Yeah.
flashes of brilliance in this, and that's one of them. Yeah,
Mhm.
here we go. I think this is all really powerful. 'Cause you can hear a bit of Darth Vader there as well. You can hear a
Yeah.
bit of the
Mhm.
mask.
Oh, don't start all that with suffering.
Fear leads to anger. Anger leads to hate. Hate leads to fear. Fear leads to suffering. Suffering leads to fear.
Fear
Anger
leads
leads
to
to.
fear. Fear leads to anger.
Yeah, I feel like this. I kind of dig the first half an hour of this, and then the film just gets pulled in so many different directions, and like we get to
Yeah, I just
this,
think after the
and it's just so
after the
uneven.
chase scene in Coruscant, I just lose interest until I think probably until the Jedi show up in the arena.
Well, yeah, it just becomes so uneven, doesn't it? The story's trying to do so many things at once, and it's getting pulled in so many different directions that it just becomes
It feels
so.
padded and bloated at the same
Yeah,
time.
yeah, and it's
Yeah.
odd. I don't know how a film can feel like it's got so much to do, but also is so padded.
Hmm.
It's odd. And I mean, I get like Hayden's performance. There are flashes of brilliance in this.
Yeah.
In all honesty, though, I this is probably going to be a bit controversial. I would probably, if you put a gun to my head, I would probably rather put this on than Solo. Like this is worse. Yeah,
Really?
this is definitely worse. But every time I watch Solo, I always just find it really dull, and I don't know why. I just always am never invested in it at all. Uh,
I suppose what
yeah,
I'd argue what this has over Solo is that it's probably a bit more brighter and a bit more
I
colourful,
think
whereas
that's it.
Solo's kind of muddy and
I think
murky.
that's it. It's so murky. Solo is just so it's so murky, and I think that's what puts me off. It just feels so
I mean, I think
I
they
don't know.
I think they have a bit in common. Like,
They do, yeah.
they're kind of one level throughout, and that's kind of
They do,
it.
yeah. And like I said, I think
Yeah.
this is worse, but I think I'd rather watch it than Solo. Ah, this scene. This,
Uh, to be angry is to be human. What? Oh, I mean, what she should do is get in her spaceship, go back to Coruscant, and report this guy for being a mass
Yeah,
murderer.
because that's what he is.
Lock him up.
Lo-
Oh.
Lock him up and throw away the key. He's jealous. But like you say, on his face, I think he performs this really well. His facial expressions, but it's the dialogue
Yeah.
where he's like, "I slaughtered them like animals." It yeah.
And again, it could be a good scene, a good man realizing what his mistake is, but it's
Yeah,
not.
exactly.
Oh, but the
But
women
the women,
in
the
the
children
children
do.
do. I have brought peace, justice, snacks, and lower gas prices to my new empire. Don't make me kill you. Oh, gonna have I'd argue Revenge of the Sith is probably the most memeable.
Oh, it
I
is.
think George Lucas was ahead of his time and made the meme
The
movie.
meme movie. Yeah.
We've had the Lego movie, the Emoji movie, the Blocko movie, whatever it's called.
Oh, yeah.
Now we've got,
Playmobil. Yeah.
but 2005, yeah, ahead of his time, the
The
meme
meme
movie.
movie.
Well, that and B movie.
That B movie. Yeah.
You like jazz? You
Oh
like
God.
jazz?
I really love this scene. I think the music here is really
Mhm.
underrated. It's like one of my favorite little bits of the score in this. When he walks up to the grave. I think the score is brilliant.
Mhm.
Yeah, I just think I think the music is great.
Mhm.
Can you see those graves in Revenge of the Sith?
I don't
I feel like
know.
I feel like you don't, but also I feel like you should be able to. Like it's
Yeah.
surprised he didn't add them into the original trilogy. Actually,
Mm. I mean, apologies if we're going silent here. It's
there's
just,
nothing to say
oh,
really.
what can we even talk
There's
about? There's
really
nothing to
nothing to
say.
say. Yeah. In fact, actually, Isaac, keep the viewers entertained. I need to put the laptop onto charge, so keep the listeners entertained.
Okay.
I'll be back.
Uh. I don't like how they keep calling him Annie. It's a really lame nickname. um.
I am back.
It's clear Viceroy Gunray's behind the assassination attempts. Yeah, that's pretty
Yeah,
obvious.
you think? It's like,
Do you have any idea who was behind this attack?
maybe the person who we
It's
ruined
like
his empire
starting.
10 years ago.
Yeah, it'd be like starting Empire Strikes Back. The Imperial probe droid lands, and I don't know. Han Solo says, "Have any idea who this could be?"
It's like
Who do you think it is?
I also like I will never get over like you cast Samuel L. Jackson as a
Yeah,
Jedi
and you just ha
and he has
and
nothing
he's
to
just
do.
so yeah.
He just stands there like so like one note and it's like Samuel L. Jackson. This guy should be a
I mean,
complete
Revenge of the
insanity.
I mean, Revenge of the Sith, when Anakin says "what" to him, need I remind you what happened to the last guy who said "what" to Samuel
Yeah.
L. Jackson?
I do like how on the bottom of his lightsaber are engraved the words BMF. Uh, for
Oh, is
yeah,
it? I didn't know that.
bad motherfucker.
Ah, well,
It's quite
apparently,
cool.
didn't he request a purple lightsaber?
Yes, he did. The whole reason we have multiple lightsaber colors outside of blue, green, and red is because of him. Because
Yeah.
he was just like yeah, I want purple, and George was just like yeah, okay, fuck it. Jimmy Smits as Bail Organa. I like him a lot. I really. I mean, I
Yeah.
think he's yeah, he works really well, and I like that he
hmm
came back for
And I,
Rogue One.
yeah, same here. Speaking of Rogue One, even though we're not going to cover it just
Yeah.
yet, Red Letter Media's introduction to their review is glorious because it's literally just parodying the fangasms people were having when that film came out.
That's true.
Yeah,
That yeah.
they just start with X-Wings, Death Star, Grand Moff
Yeah.
Tarkin, 80 Estes, 80 Estes. It broke new
It
ground.
broke new ground.
Yeah, I liked Rogue One enough, but when people were saying it broke new ground, it finally acknowledged that Star Wars is about a war.
That's that
What?
baffles because I liked Rogue One when I first saw it, but it's gone down and down every time I've watched it. And
Yeah.
yeah, I just don't get it. I just like oh, I just
I mean,
it's
there's so
so
many
dark.
people who say. I mean, there's so many people who say, "Oh, the sequel trilogy just nostalgia baits you." Um, what film were you watching
Yeah,
when Rogue One came out, and you were saying, "Oh, it's the best of the Disney era films"?
yeah, exactly.
The lesson is never try to understand Star Wars
No.
fans. hmm Now, what Count Dooku should have said when he came into this prison chamber is he should have said, "You, sir, truly are Obi-Wan Kenobi. I was right to idolize you. I always knew you were tough." Referencing
Oh,
The
The Incredibles. Yeah.
Incredibles.
Oh man. And when everyone's a Jedi, no one will be.
No one will be. And yeah, there's interesting things said here where Dooku blatantly admits, the Senator's now under control of Darth Sidious, and Obi-Wan says, "Impossible. The Jedi would have sensed it." But he says, the dark side has clouded their minds, and it's an interesting idea. The Jedi at the height of their powers, yet they can't see the evil that is right in front of them.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And again, he mentions that Qui-Gon was uh, Count Dooku's apprentice, and he mentions Qui-Gon could have joined him. And
It's a
yeah,
good
I just
point.
think
Yeah.
with what we saw of Qui-Gon in Menace, how he was the only one who believed in Anakin and the only one who saw that he was the chosen one. You could see that
Yeah.
maybe. Yeah,
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah. Absolutely. Oh god, here we
yeah,
go.
maybe if.
Here's
Yeah,
here's the catalyst for the entire events of the
hmm
original trilogy.
Yep.
And it all comes.
Give immediately.
It's all set up from one of the worst, like, fake moments from the Chancellor. We talked over it earlier. It's when his guard goes, "If only Senator Amidala were here," and Chancellor Palpatine just goes, and just nods his head, and it cuts to Jar Jar, and it's like, that is one of the worst bait and switches ever. That's so like, oh, I wonder who's the Sith Lord. It just comes across as like it's a lying child. It's just so. I love democracy. That's another meme.
Yeah, I love the Republic. I make love to it every night. It's good.
Democracy is love. Democracy is life.
So you're gonna take what, 300 Jedi just to help one?
Basically, yeah.
What? That's like sending all of the army out to help one hostage.
Yeah. What happened?
Oh, we've got the infamous droid factory scene coming up that apparently George Lucas wrote in his. Didn't he write it in his car or something on the way to filming?
Yeah, he wrote it in the car on the way to the set. Yeah, which.
Oh god.
And there's an infamous scene of Natalie Portman doing all that and jumping through the green screen blocks to the blue screen blocks and going, "George, what am I doing?" And it's just George Lucas just walks on and goes, "It'll look cool. It'll look cool. Don't worry, we'll make it look good." And it's just, I just feel sorry for Natalie Portman because she's just running through this nonsense, not knowing where she is, what she's supposed to be doing, and she's just like, "George, what am I doing?" It's just like, I do not blame her. It's so.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, acting to nothing is just really hard, and again, he just doesn't give them any help as to what they're looking at. So no wonder they've just got bland expressions on their faces.
I did get that Unusual Suspect sketch as well, when he's like, "God, Christopher Lee must have looked so weird doing this." Just an old man pointing a stick at the ground. You'll make this look good, right? Oh yeah, our ILM are bitches. Cracking.
Okay, we're nearly at the arena battle. It's nearly over.
And there's so much comedy here with 3PO and R2, and there's a lot of, to be fair, there is a lot of comedy with 3PO in Empire Strikes Back. There's a lot of it. But I think the difference there is the film doesn't stop to have these prolonged comedic sequences with him, and the jokes are actually funny.
The comedy. Yeah, because the comedy comes from the fact that they just ignore him and don't take him seriously. Yeah. You know, Hannah's like saying, "Shut him up or shut him down."
Yeah.
Or I think there's like, "Sir, the odds of surviving an attack on an Imperial Star Destroyer are," and Leia just says, "Shut up."
Yeah, whereas in this, there is just prolonged sequences of him doing slapstick, and we get things like, "Oh, this is such a drag. Oh, I'm beside myself." 3PO making
I want
dad
to go
jokes.
Home.
Although I do quite like the bit where he's like, "Die, Jedi dogs." What did I say? That I find that a bit funny, but yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I was just wondering. Do they play Across the Stars here?
Yeah, they do. They do the whole.
It just feels so weird to put it here. I mean, if I ever have to work in a factory again, I'll just play that in my head. Yes. Maybe it'll make it more pleasant.
Yeah, it's this whole bit where she's ducking and diving. There's that video where she's just going, "What the hell's happening?"
Well, yeah, it's literally like a video game. Press the green arrow at the right time to proceed.
It's a quick time
shit
event,
like that.
Press A.
Yeah.
And to be fair, the Lego Star Wars game, this was a very fun level. You know, it translated very well to a video game, which kind of says it all. And it's so jarring when it cuts to CGI 3PO. Look at that. Look how jarring that is.
Like that.
That's
yeah.
so jarring compared to the suit.
And,
It's a nightmare.
I want to go home. Ugh.
It really does just
Yeah,
look
again.
so cartoony.
Well, we haven't got Jar Jar, so just put someone else for comic relief.
Yeah, it really does just look so cartoony.
Mm-hmm. Because here's the thing, this action scene does nothing to advance the plot. Anakin and Padme need to get to Geonosis. Okay, they do that, but even if you cut this out, and I'm willing to bet they probably did cut this out in that IMAX version, maybe.
Probably.
Yeah. I mean, it does show us that they're making a droid army, but Obi-Wan already told us that. We don't need to.
Exactly, we don't need to.
It's
yeah.
just so dull.
We do, yeah, like you said, we don't. It's a fun set piece, but unfortunately, it does feel like a level in a video game because it comes out of nowhere. And I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm no expert in robotics, but those heads are so different from each other. No way would that go on. No way would that go on smoothly. That's ridiculous. And it even feels like the music is recycled here, because the music is from other parts of the film. Like that bit of Across the Stars that keeps playing is from when Padme falls off the gunship later.
It's not Padme who goes in lava; it's her husband.
And of course, it does. Introducing the jets for R2 does definitely beg the question of why didn't he do this in the original trilogy? Why didn't he do that in the original trilogy?
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Does he ever fly in the sequel trilogy? Because maybe they left that out.
I can't recall. No, I don't think he does. I mean,
I don't
he
think
doesn't
he
have
does,
a lot
but
to do in the sequels.
yeah, it's probably the only time he does it.
Because in the Force Awakens, he's like in a coma. In the Last Jedi, he basically is just saying, "Oh, come back, Luke. Come on, mate." And in
plays the message for him.
Yeah. And then in Rise of Skywalker, he basically gives 3PO his memory back, doesn't he? That's all he does in that, basically.
Yeah. Oh my god, I know the influence for this. It's the chicken pie scene from Chicken Run. Doe, get it? Doe. It's like an oven in here.
I feel like if your hand was stuck in that big metal thing as well, it'd be more screwed up. Because it's being melted down onto your hand. It's like...
Yeah, is Django CGI there? Because he really looks it.
I believe he is, yeah. Again...
Yeah, again, it probably just adds to that whole... how last minute it feels.
Yeah. I bet you Hayden and Natalie were the only people that could get on set that day. Because it was such a last minute thing, and...
You know how in Phantom Menace, Lucas was like, we're never going to beat Titanic.
Yes.
Well, what other big movie came out 2 years ago when this was made? Gladiator. So let's have an arena battle.
Didn't Spielberg direct some of this? I swear I've heard a story about him directing like a sequence. Or maybe
apparently he directed the Yoda Palpatine fight in Revenge of the Sith.
Oh, that might be it then, yeah.
Yeah, I'm not sure if he did anything here. I truly, deeply
cut to the clip of Jameson laughing.
Yeah, my name.
Spider-Man 2.
My name's Engelbert Humperdinck.
This is a proper goosebump moment for me, though. I love this bit where the music just swells.
Yeah, I do love the
and they get wheeled
I do love
out,
the darkness here
and the light.
how there's that big crowd and the light
And
comes
here we go,
in.
is the music. It just, it's brilliant.
You put sand out here. It's truly torture. That's so weird how when these monsters come out, one of the rhino-like monsters called a reek.
A reek, yeah.
Ugh. Yeah, I just get Game of Thrones flashbacks because one of the characters gets castrated, and that's like his his derogatory nickname. It's Reek.
Star Wars: Attack of the Clones. It reminds you of castration.
Reek.
I love this exchange. I really like this exchange. The whole then we decided to come rescue you. Good job. that's funny. That's a genuine.
Yeah, that's good.
It's good. I like that. It's the way Ewan McGregor delivers it.
Yeah.
And in a minute we get the whole. What about Padme? She seems to be on top of things. All right, James Bond.
Well, this was the same year as Die Another Day.
Yes, it was. Which one's more cartoony? This or Die Another Day?
Well, I watched it for the first time ever the other week, and I just thought I was like Krusty when he watched that Itchy and Scratchy cartoon. What the hell was that?
Yeah. It's Die Another Day. What a mess.
Yep. They literally took a plot twist that even the Basil Brush show took the piss out of.
It's that bit where
it's literally, it's the whole plastic surgery thing. There's a Basil Brush episode where they catch two bank robbers, and there's like a cafe owner who's been like an established supporting character, but he just says out of nowhere, I'm your father. When I escaped prison, I got plastic surgery and pretended to be a rubbish cafe owner.
Oh god! It's that bit where the
Die Another Day
Korean general walks into the room, and Toby Stephens turns around in this big suit of armor, and it's played as this big like serious moment, and I always crack up laughing because it just looks hilarious.
Yep.
God, 2002 was a really big year for genre films then. I'm just thinking now.
Yeah, Lord of the Rings, Harry Potter, this... Spider-Man, yeah.
Spider-Man, Die Another Day. It was a huge year for genre films.
It's a shame Treasure Planet got lost in all of them.
Treasure Planet was this year, wasn't it? Oh, yeah, because she's supposed to be sexy in this one. She gets cut at the exact spot that reveals her belly. Because of course she does. Yeah. She gets cut in the exact spot that looks the most badass and the most attractive is what's happened there. It's just so...
I swear some of those sound effects used for the Reek creature, I swear they're from The Lost World or Jurassic Park.
Yeah, they sound very Jurassic Park, yeah.
Where they're trying to catch the dinosaurs.
Yeah. I like that. Shooter or something.
Yeah, why give them these monsters? Just shoot them.
Yeah. I guess it's entertainment, isn't it? But at the end of the day,
you
bring out these three monsters to people that are tied to pillars. What's the rhino gonna do apart from demolish the pillar?
Yeah.
God, yeah, you're right. There's very, very dinosaur sound effects, yeah.
Now that thing there, the spider-like creature, they were in Battlefront 2, the original, where when you're on Felucia, they just show up and attack anyone, and you're like, oh, piss off! I'm trying to shoot droids here. Yeah, that's one of the details I do like about Battlefront 2. They will put in, if you're on a certain planet, they'll put in the natives of those, and they'll just attack anyone.
Yes, yeah.
that was easy.
Yeah.
It seemed like the most ferocious, hard creature to have, and it was just, that's it.
Oh god, the way she landed on that.
That must have been
That must have been
painful.
really, because it just, oh, and you see her like go, oh, it's just,
Ugh.
oh god, because it's just a thunk as well. It's not like she jumps on it and then gets on. It's just this.
Mm-hmm.
I can't believe they kept the racist Trade Federation as well. I cannot believe they kept that. I know they're only in it for a bit, but.
I'll admit, it's all shot on a crappy green screen, but seeing all these Jedi
great.
is cool.
This action,
It is
this
cool,
is
I'll say that,
gets
yeah.
back into gear. It really picks up here.
Yeah.
It's so much fun.
Mm-hmm.
Although some of them are useless, they get shot in like 30 seconds.
Yeah.
That is so cool.
Mm-hmm. And also, this is the first appearance of the Super Battle Droids.
It is, yeah. Yep.
Yeah, wouldn't surprise me if Russell T Davies saw those and thought, I know what I can make the Cybermen do.
Yeah, stomp.
Yeah.
This shot here is so, with all of that, is amazing. That's so good. That's brilliant. So they just have spare lightsabers.
Sorry, Anakin. Yeah, sorry, Anakin. We couldn't get any more blue ones. But I suppose, again, it's like poetry, it rhymes, you know.
Yeah.
Anakin, in this film, he lost his blue lightsaber and it's replaced with a green one,
yeah.
like Luke in Empire and Jedi. Yeah.
I mean, everyone knows green's the best colour.
Oh yeah, I'd definitely have green if I was a Jedi.
Green is the best lightsaber colour. Hands down.
Mm-hmm. The word deleted scenes cut here. I think when Obi-Wan and Mace are side by side fighting, I think Obi-Wan says a few lines saying, we need to shut down the droids, and I think Mace says, we're on it. And there's there's like a team of Jedi led by Ki-Adi-Mundi who are going to a control center trying to shut them down, and they manage to do that. They get shut down, but then I think they get reactivated literally again.
It's completely pointless.
And yeah, because if you notice, when they're surrounded and they stop fighting for a bit, Ki-Adi-Mundi and a few Jedi, they come back into the circle later than the rest. So yeah, that must have been it.
So that's where it would have been.
Yeah.
Yeah, this guy's useless. He just gets literally shot within a matter of seconds.
I mean, Anakin's a Padawan and he's able to survive this.
But Jango was using one pistol, that's the thing. He wasn't even using like a machine gun or just one little pistol and it kills him. It's ridiculous.
Yeah. Yeah. Though the look that Mace Windu gives when he cuts off Jango Fett's head is just so disturbing.
It's borderline psychopathic.
Yeah.
Is what it is. It's...
Yeah. It's just like...
It's so dodgy, yeah.
That's just so weird.
The Guardians of Peace and Justice in the entire galaxy.
Guardians of Peace and Justice, my arse. I do like what the Clone Wars did with this Jedi, Kit Fisto, because he's kind of like a cool, easygoing Jamaican.
He's really cool. And even here, you can see some of that personality where he just smiles as
Yeah. Mhm.
It is cool.
I like to think he was trying to help 3PO get his body back, even though I don't think he's ever met him.
I really love this little exchange. This whole I call this aggressive negotiations. I think that's really nice. I think that's a really nice little bit of banter.
And again, this is pretty psychotic. He
Oh
cuts
yeah,
off limbs, slits its throat, and then stabs it in the head.
pretty much.
Like, what the hell?
Peter wouldn't be very kind on this film.
This is such a drag.
Oh, this is
Get it?
drag. So stupid. I mean, I don't hate this stuff, but it is just very childish. It is very like.
Yeah.
I quite like all this stuff though, with them being pushed into a
look
corner. That is kind of cool.
I do like that detail of the super battle droid just throwing the basic one out the way, like saying, "Piss off, let me do it."
Yeah, that is cool.
Yeah, he bought what 200 Jedi to this, and there's what 30 left.
Yep, so many died.
And now the Jedi are all but extinct, and we know why.
Yeah, they were useless.
No wonder Order 66 was so easy.
Master Windu.
Is that what you want? The key of all Fang? Can we not take counsel like we did once, my old friend? Now the weird thing is, I just don't get I don't buy how the Jedi just right. The Jedi's thinking is, oh, we didn't order this clone army. It's very suspicious. It was created by someone who died mysteriously 10 years ago. Oh well, let's just use it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, no wonder they get killed. They're idiots.
No wonder the hubris and the vanity of the Jedi is what led to their defeat.
Yeah. Now, what we're about to see here is the first casualty of the Clone Wars, not counting the Jedi. I think. Here we go. It's somewhere here. There we go. First casualty of the Clone Wars. Yeah, such a shame. He probably went through all those simulations on Camino just to get to here.
He was loved.
Well, again, that's another great thing about the Clone Wars. It gets you to care about the clones.
Oh yeah, no, for sure, absolutely, yeah. And it gets going on, and it gets you to care about the Jedi as well. So, this was a war when nobody won. Nobody won this war.
Yeah, because season 6, that's it. It ends with Yoda seeing the future, and it's there he realizes no one can win this war, but there will be hope at the end of it. And even though now we've had season 7 and it wasn't the official ending, I thought, okay, if Clone Wars never comes back, I'm pretty happy that they ended it like that.
Yeah, it was a decent ending to it. Yeah, I know what you mean. I mean, I'm glad we got season 7, because those last 4 episodes are just insanely good. But yeah, no, I agree, and I just love the whole. That's what I really love about the whole prequel era, is that it is a massive tragedy when nobody wins and everyone was just manipulated. And there's a really great episode of Star Wars Rebels where they go to an old Clone Wars site, and there's this droid there that still thinks that the Clone Wars is on, and it's this really tragic. It's this really tragic episode, and they have to kind of act like they're in the Clone Wars to kind of beat this droid. It's really well done. They're so poorly integrated. It just looks like one of those
Disney films where they have live action and cartoons like Mary
Yeah,
Poppins.
not a single suit of armor was built for the clone troopers. It's
uh,
insane. They're all CGI.
oh yeah, he brags so much about that in the commentary for
Yeah.
this. But what's interesting is typically in films, the good guys are on the left and the bad guys are on the right when you've got battles like this.
Yes. Yeah.
And it's kind of subverted here, but it's also foreshadowing
Yeah. It's
of
reversed. Yeah.
and it's kind of an introverted empire that
Very
started with a
true.
huge battle. This ends with it, and again, it's the empire putting down a rebellion, and we've got the clones here putting down what is essentially a rebellion.
Yeah. Yeah. It's great. It's yeah. It's I love all this foreshadowing and all. This is all kind of sinister in a way, because seeing where this
Hmm.
went and. I love these purple like missiles they shoot. It's really cool. This pink, purple.
Hmm.
I never got this. This doesn't make much sense to me. Why would the plans for the Death Star be there? It
Yeah, I
really
mean, it
doesn't
doesn't.
seem to line up.
It doesn't. I don't think it contradicts Rogue One because I just think they established that it was Galen Erso who put the weakness in.
Yeah,
But
yeah, yeah.
I mean these people made a droid army, so I don't think it's completely implausible that they could make a
Yeah,
giant
no, it
space
just
station.
yeah, it just doesn't seem to quite like. It just feels like it's put in there because oh, Death Star, Death Star. I don't know. It
Yeah.
just doesn't seem to line up with what we know about the trajectory of this whole. I don't know. It just
Hmm.
doesn't. It's just yeah. It's never. It's always felt a bit odd to me that it's there. I like the Star Wars thing coming through here though. Get a bit of
Yeah, and
the
you did,
go
and
go
also just going back
go.
to the Death Star as well. I mean, is that what Palpatine promised the Separatists? We're going to secede from the Republic and to be in control, we're going to make this Death Star, but
Yeah, I guess
obviously
so.
that's not going to happen. Yeah.
Yeah. God. I don't know. I don't know if that was Christopher Lee or not, but Count Dooku just looks really silly riding on that thing.
Yeah.
My claim to fame is that Frank Oz was born in my hometown.
Ah,
He
cool.
was born in Hereford, born and bred here. Uh,
Very nice. Yeah.
so yeah, that's. But nobody ever talks about it here. That's the thing. It always baffles me.
Ah,
When I first
that's a
found out
shame.
about it, I was like, that can't be true. No one ever talks about it. But yeah, it's this is really cool. I like the fog and the sand blowing up, and the only thing you can see is lights. It's really cool.
Hmm. Yeah, but you can use lasers, right?
Yeah,
Shoot him in the lasers. I mean, Obi-Wan even says, if we catch him, we can end this war right now.
yeah.
Well, shoot him. That's it.
Shoot him
War's
then.
over.
He's got a shooter. The Republic gunships are as well. Like in the Lego games, they're so useless because they're so
Yeah, they
chunky.
are.
They're so chunky that yeah, they just
Mm.
they're really slow and
Don't go down there, Anakin. There's sand.
you will be expelled from the Jedi Order for rescuing someone.
Yeah, I thought, but Master, I thought we were supposed to be guardians of Peace and justice in the galaxy.
Peace and justice, my ass.
When I mean, earlier he said, "Good call, my young Padawan." I bet that's what he says when Anakin orders pizza for the night.
Yes.
Good call, my young Padawan. Margarita. Pepperoni. Yeah, I just realised a clone got off the gunship. It just got shot down.
Just got
like,
shot, yeah.
Oh, poor guy. Oh, this. Oh, I hate this lightsaber duel. This is easily the worst one. We'll take him slowly. You go in on the left. He's not a statue.
He does have the capacity to move. And he can hear you as well. This is the thing. You're not being secretive about your battle tactics here.
It pissed me off so much in the Lego game that you couldn't absorb the lightning with your lightsaber. I always thought you could do that, but nope. What you've got to do, you've got to have one of the players get electrocuted, transfer to the other player, and have that player go to stop him. It just seems such a dumb way to do that.
Yeah, that's how you defeat the Emperor in Return of the Jedi as well, isn't it? You have to let one of
it's so weird.
Somebody's got to get electrocuted. You change to the other one. He just taps him, and
Oh yeah, Padme says, "We've got to get to that hangar." How do you know they're going to a hangar?
Yes.
Hey, what's that there? Is that the script? Oh yeah, Christopher Lee's CGI face.
Oh yeah, it looks really dodgy, doesn't it? I mean, I get it. He's a. I don't know how old he was when he did this, but he wasn't.
I think he was 79.
Yeah, he wasn't a young man, and I get putting him through all this training to do a sword fight. And stuff probably wasn't the best idea, but it does look dodgy. They could do that effect now, and it would look really good, but
yeah. It's a shame they didn't have him fight with two sabers. Yeah. And it's gone. Yeah, this fight, it's this bit here that pisses me off the most.
It's weird, isn't it?
It's in complete darkness, and it's just crappy close-ups. Like, I can't see. You do realise that, right?
It's trying to be quite artful, but it's just it just doesn't work.
It's just like
really doesn't work. I think it's trying to emulate the bit from Return of the Jedi, where they're all in darkness and he comes out of the shadows and stuff, but it doesn't work. That's really bad. The way he just hits him, stands there, and Dooku just chops his arm off. He literally just stands there.
Yeah, and that scream wasn't even that much. It was just like, it's my arm's gone, I guess. I know so many people orgasm when they see Yoda with a lightsaber, but it just feels wrong to me. Like, it's like giving Superman an aeroplane. He doesn't need one. Or it's like giving Batman camouflage army armor. He wouldn't need it.
I feel like I'm on.
No, sorry, wait. It's like giving Batman a gun.
Yes, yeah, for sure. I think I'm on board with it until he starts jumping around and going like a gremlin. That's when it loses me a bit.
I mean, yeah, this is what it should have been. It should have been a battle of the forces.
Yeah.
Because I can shoot lightning now. And you can hear Yoda's theme in here, particularly when he's about to lift the pillar up or something like that.
Yes, yeah, you can, which is nice. It's nice that that's in there.
just giving him a lightsaber just doesn't feel right to me.
It's a
We've
little
seen him
diddy.
fight now with a laser sword.
It's a little diddy one as well. It's just this tiny little stumpy lightsaber.
It's like the one that the younglings have, the baby
Yeah.
one.
The baby one.
Yeah.
And like you said, it is just Christopher Lee waving a stick at a ground.
Yeah. Because the thing is, if he can do all those flips and things, why the hell does he need a cane?
Yeah.
Is that... yeah. I mean, Unusual Suspect, again, I think put it best. Have him not use a cane in the prequels, and then Revenge of the Sith, he gets wounded by Sidious.
Gets injured, yeah. That would have been
Yeah,
cool.
and then have him use the cane for the original trilogy.
Yeah, you can hear Yoda's theme here, yeah.
Yeah, that's great. Anakin's just lying there like, yeah, just do it for me, Master Yoda. I can't get up.
It's not like they've lost use of their legs. They can still probably roll a bit.
Yeah.
Just shuffle a bit. Here's another sequence that was re-edited for the Blu-ray.
Oh, was it?
Yeah, this whole... So, originally, Yoda puts the pillar down. We cut to this, of Dooku's escape. And then we cut to the reaction shots of Obi-Wan and Anakin on the ground. But for the Blu-ray, it's been reversed. So we cut to the reaction shots first, and then this whole escape sequence. It's pointless, isn't it? It's just like... It's a pointless edit.
Yeah. Oh, now they get up.
Yeah. That's the thing, look, it's not like they can't walk. Just shuffle.
Yeah.
They could have literally just moved to the other side of the room and been completely out of the way of any danger.
And I just realised we're coming to the end of the film now, and this is the only time that Sidious, not Palpatine, has appeared.
Yeah.
Because he only appeared in hologram and I think once in person in Phantom Menace, but here it's only used once, and I'm genuinely surprised there.
Yeah, it is surprising. It is surprising for sure. But I really like the atmosphere.
Luckily in Sith they use him again.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I really like the atmosphere of this, like going into the underground of Coruscant. It's all derelict and things, and you can hear the choir music in the back. It's really creepy to me. It really sort of gets
the Lego version. Yeah. The Lego version is so funny because he literally lands, he comes out, and they just go.
Yeah, and then it cuts to credits.
Yeah. Yeah, because you always got that option when you finished an episode to say, finish the game. This like had the shortest cutscene because it's literally them just laughing and that's it. Yeah. Whereas, I like the one in Return that they did for Return of the Jedi where, they showed everyone celebrating, all the ghosts, things like that. But, I think here for the Lego game, they could have showed this, the clones blasting off into space and then Anakin and Padme marrying.
Yeah, sure. That would have made a lot more sense, but and I completely adore this ending. I love everything about this ending because
it is a good ending.
It's really haunting to me, like seeing these ships go out into the universe, knowing what will happen.
And the Imperial theme.
Yeah, the Imperial theme, the birth of the Empire essentially, and knowing what will happen. In
it just shows.
It's just.
It just shows how much power Palpatine now has.
Yeah, I find it really.
They're one step closer to being the Empire.
Yeah, for sure. I really do find it ominous, and like knowing what happened to innocent planets in the Clone Wars and stuff, having it just all being taken over and corrupted, and there's all these ships going out into the galaxy to start that conflict, and it's really I love it. I think it's a brilliant ending. And I love the whole It reminds me of the Game of Thrones theme, actually.
It is a little bit, yeah.
Yeah, I find this so spooky.
Mhm.
Love it. All those ships out there flying to conquer, essentially.
Yeah,
And I love Bail Organa's face. He's
and
just
it's
like
all
his face is just like, this cannot end well.
yeah.
So
And
defeated.
it's basically you could film this as part of a Republic promotional material saying disobey us and this is what happens.
Basically, yeah.
Yeah, just how close they are to being a fascist dictatorship.
And there's no dialogue here either. It's just, I think it's, yeah, really,
Yep.
really good.
Now his robotic arm, it's gold. It kind of looks like caramel.
It does, yeah.
Nom
Yeah,
nom.
num 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 num.
Mm. Homer, stop picking at it. But I'm so sweet and tasty. Well, time to go to work. Dad, I wouldn't go outside if I were you. Don't worry, boys. He's gotta come out of there sometime.
Really nice note to end on. I love, if nothing else, I adore the ending of this. That's the thing.
Yep, at least we got to this. And she marries a complete psychopath.
Yep. Directed by George Lucas.
Bloody hell.
Screenplay by Lucas and Jonathan Hales. Jonathan Hales. The culprit.
Bloody hell, that was... Oh, that was such a chore to go through. It really was. Yeah.
It's oh god. It I definitely this time felt probably the longest it's ever felt.
I know, the Phantom Menace, that kind of flew by last week, but
it did, yeah.
God, this was just so so long.
And again, I apologise if we've had nothing to say during this, but sometimes there isn't anything to say, because I feel like this...
Yeah.
As I started this commentary by saying, this is the peak of the prequels in terms of the issues, and I feel like because of that, there's only so much you can say. You know, it's... Co-starring Pernilla August. She was only in it for 5 seconds.
Yep.
Silas Carson again, the voice of the Ood.
Yeah.
He was in it again, wasn't he?
I hope you enjoy your meal.
And...
The beast and his armies shall rise from the pit to make war against God. Sorry?
God, I love that. It's so sinister.
Yeah.
No, the Attack of the Clones is a weird one for sure, isn't it? It's
Yeah, I mean, I think it's great if there's fans of. Fair enough if people like it, and it's great if there's fans of it out there, but it's just not for me. It's easily the worst for me.
I think the highs are higher than the ones in Phantom Menace, but I also think the lows are lower.
I don't know.
I think it has higher highs and lower lows for me. That's sort of how it goes.
That's a hard thing to say. Yeah.
Because I mean,
it's just I probably would never watch this again unless I don't know. I was doing a Skywalker Saga marathon.
Yeah. No, I get that. Yeah.
Because I mean, the only time I did a Star Wars marathon was when Force Awakens came out. I just marathon the original trilogy back to back, episodes 4, 5, and 6. I didn't bother with the prequels, so that was it.
I feel like I used to do it every time a new Skywalker Saga film was coming out. So I would do I did one in the run up to Force Awakens, Last Jedi, Rise of Skywalker. But one day I would like to do literally everything, like prequels, originals, sequels, all of Clone Wars, all of Rebels, all of Mandalorian, all of the shows that they're working on now. One day I'd like to do just all of that. But it'd be a cover.
And the holiday special, of course.
Oh God, no. Yeah.
Well, I have spoken to someone who does have a bootleg VHS copy of that.
Oh, well, I've got a DVD of it.
Set.
I
Oh,
I've got a DVD of
oh,
it.
it might be a DVD he had. Oh,
um,
Christ.
yeah, Jesus. Ooh,
Is it all online as well?
it's all
Like, is
on
the full thing
YouTube.
online?
It's all on YouTube.
Yeah, I thought it
you'll,
was.
Disney are never going to release it.
Yeah.
Having said
Well,
that,
they
though,
did the Lego holiday special.
they did the Lego Holiday Special, which was fun. That's what I was sort of going to say. They've started to acknowledge it a lot more.
Yep.
So they're constantly making references to Life Day and things, but they'll never release it. But yeah,
Just want to know the writing process behind that. No. We need an outer space holiday. Something like Life Day.
Life Day.
But not as lame. Happy Life Day, everyone!
Life Day.
Oh,
God. And George Lucas said he'd track down every copy and smash it with a hammer.
If you get a knock on your door and a mysterious person with a hammer comes in, don't let them in.
I'm not George Lucas. I'm his cousin. Porge, Hookus.
Hello, my name is Mr. Sakul. I come from someplace far away. Yes, that'll do. Oh, in memory of Steve Bell. Who's that?
Oh, I don't know.
Oh. Oh dear.
Frank Pepe Merrill.
Matthew Wood, sound editor. I've met him.
Yes, voice of Grievous, isn't he?
And the Battle Droids, yeah.
Yeah, no, there's some great stuff in there, some truly terrible stuff. But
there's good sprinkled here and it's like you've got a crappy meal from a restaurant, and the good sprinkled here and there is the salt, trying to take away the flavour of the crap. It's like getting the new chips from KFC, those horrible chunky pub ones.
Oh, nice.
And you put salt on them to try and take the taste away.
No, there is decent stuff there. I
I'll acknowledge that.
There's a lot of good. There's a lot of terrible stuff. It's just uneven, really. And after the first half an hour, it just becomes so like needlessly convoluted and. Yeah, it's Attack of the Clones. Yeah, that's all. That's what it is. It's definitely the worst in the series for sure. Absolutely. But yeah. So that was Attack of the Clones. Oh no, there's still. If you experienced any condition that detracted from the theatrical presentation of this film. It was shit. No, no, I don't.
It was crap.
So that was Attack of the Clones. If you've managed to sit through 2.5 hours of us being a bit bored, then have a cookie. Treat yourself because you deserve it. Next time, we will be doing Revenge of the Sith.
We shall. Join us next time for episode 3, where we'll be tackling the final of the prequels.
Yes, and
2 down, 1 to go.
2 down, 1 to go, and we'll probably have much better time talking about that one because
I think so too.
But I had fun talking about this anyway, just sort of memeing on it. And so yeah, I hope you enjoyed it. See you next time. Bye bye.
Bye bye. Bye. Bye.